Only on 5. Now, former criminal court judge Bill Anderson, like you've never heard him before. After more than a decade on the bench, he's calling it quits. And tonight, he is unfiltered.
Some of Judge Anderson's rulings spurred deep divisions in our community when it comes to criminal justice. The judge says he could never speak freely about his critics while he was wearing the robe, but he had plenty to say in an exclusive interview with Action News 5's Kelly Cook.
Bill Anderson has worked at 201 Poplar since the doors opened in 1981.
Okay, what's next?
And our cameras, along with his wife, were there on his last day in 2025.
After 50 years of public service, my husband is finally able to retire and going to retire. We're going to travel.
Anderson worked nearly every facet of the Shelby County criminal justice system as a juvie counselor in pretrial services, a criminal defense attorney for over 25 years, and nearly 15 years as General Sessions Court judge.
I'm satisfied, but I'm leaving a lot of good people behind that I really loved. Even now, it's hard for me not to get emotional thinking about it.
His proudest achievement,
My legacy is going to be the Shelby County Veterans Treatment Court.
the first of its kind in Tennessee, giving veterans who find themselves on the wrong side of the law a second chance. Anderson created the court 13 years ago, inspired by his father's service in World War II.
That was his passion. His dad was a scout for the beaches of Normandy and came back a very damaged man.
Judge Anderson's career has been publicly chronicled for decades. But a statement he made about bail bond companies at a Shelby County Commission meeting in 2023 changed the course of his last 18 months on the bench. On September 18, 2023, you said this.
They don't sit in the courtroom. They don't monitor anything. They don't do anything but collect money from poor people. That's what they do. That's how they function. I detest the bail bond system in Shelby County.
On this day, do you still stand by that statement?
100%.
100%.
I was reprimanded for it. I accepted the reprimand, but I still believe 100% that way.
The reprimand came from the State Board of Judicial Conduct, who wrote the judge's comments went too far. Judge Anderson has long drawn criticism for releasing suspects from jail to await trial without paying bail, and for the low bonds he set for some violent offenders. Perhaps his most vocal critic, the state senator from District 31. Let's talk about Senator Brent Taylor.
The Undertaker.
Why do you call him the Undertaker?
Well, because that's what he did for a living. He is not a lawyer. As far as I know, he's never had any legal education. He's dangerous, frankly. In my opinion, he is a dangerous man with his position he's in now and the power that he has and the power that he's exercising in this community.
Republican Senator Brent Taylor, a funeral director by trade, won his seat in November 2022 and has spent the past 2.5 years targeting violent crime and bail reform in Shelby County. He successfully lobbied to overturn a Shelby County law that required courts to consider a defendant's ability to pay when considering bail. And it's clear he was no fan of Judge Anderson.
My initial reaction to Judge Anderson leaving the bench is thank God in Greyhound he's gone.
Criticism of Judge Anderson reached a fever pitch last year when he released Deton Gunn, who had no prior convictions, on his own recognizance, despite facing 5 counts of attempted second-degree murder for shooting outside Rail Garden during a surge in violent crime in Memphis. The district attorney's office had asked for a $500,000 bond. Do you feel like you missed the message that the public was crying out to you for a stronger stance for these violent offenders?
I didn't miss the message, but bail is not the solution. Bail is the beginning of the process. The purpose of bail is to allow people to remain free while they are presumed innocent. I didn't make those words up. That's in our United States Constitution.
The Tennessee Constitution states the magistrate must impose the least restrictive conditions of release that will reasonably ensure the appearance of the person as required and the safety of the community. The only exception it's capital murder. Senator Taylor and his colleagues are now working to change that. This Senate resolution, sponsored by Republican Senator Jack Johnson and supported by Taylor, would give voters the choice to add additional violent charges to the list that would keep the accused locked up until trial with no opportunity for bail.
He is bound and determined, and this is another strong statement, to make sure that every young male black in this city stays behind bars as long as possible.
The Memphis nonprofit Just City has argued the cash bail system disproportionately affects the poor and people of color, allowing people with money to remain out of jail, while the poor are jailed without a conviction. Just City and the ACLU filed a lawsuit alleging Tennessee's new law, sponsored by Taylor and Representative John Gillespie, refusing to allow judges to consider a defendant's ability to pay, violates the 14th Amendment, locking up defendants without due process.
He is supposed to be representing Shelby County, my county, where I live. And every law that he gets passed kills Shelby County criminal justice system.
Anderson says cash bail was designed to ensure court appearances for people who may be a flight risk. Taylor says it's about public safety, but that's a fight for the next General Sessions Court judge. The Shelby County Commission selecting Assistant DA Taylor Batchelor as Anderson's replacement. What would be your recommendation to her?
Well, I've already given her a couple. Be true to yourself and your conscience, and follow the law.
Kelly Cook, Action News 5.
Anderson was being investigated a second time by the Tennessee Board of Judicial Conduct when he announced his retirement. The former judge says that he had nothing to do with why he decided to step down before the end of his term. He says he and his wife both plan to retire together in 2025 so they could travel. One of their first trips to Normandy to visit where his father served in the U.S. military. Senator Taylor did send us a response to Anderson's interview. You can read it on our website, actionnews5.com.